American Civilization. By Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson, an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, abolitionist, and poet, was born on May 25, 1803 in Boston. Started his schooling in 1812 at Boston Latin School and then attended Harvard College. Started a journal and a series of notebooks called Wide World. Presented his first poem on Harvard's Class Day on August 29, 1821. He led the transcendentalist movement of the mid-19th century. He disseminated his thoughts through dozens of essays and more than 1,500 public lectures across the United States. His first collection of essays, first series, was published in 1841. In 1867 he was elected as a member to the American Philosophical Society. Died on April 27, 1882. American Civilization. Lecture delivered in Smithsonian Institution in Washington on January 31, 1862. It is on the life and literature, which he called as Civilization at a Pinch. Indicates the crisis which had suddenly occurred after the outbreak of the war in April. The audience received it as they have the other anti-slavery lectures of the course, with unbounded enthusiasm. The lecture was revised and was printed in the Atlantic Monthly for April, 1862. Summary. Ralph Waldo Emerson argued for a federal emancipation of the slaves, and he considered morality as the object of government. In the beginning of the talk he gives a definition of the civilization which Mr. Gitsote failed to give. A certain degree of progress from the rudest state in which man is found is called civilization. A nation with no civilization is called as barbarous. Even Turks and Moorish nations invented and imported many arts to modify them to call them civilized. Each nation grows after its own genius, and has a civilization of its own. Nations such as China and Japan changed and it has its own civilization, whereas the African Negro of today is of Herodotus. The change occurs by associating the power to compare and by ceasing from fixed ideas. The Indian is overpowered by the white as they are gloomy and distressed when urged to depart from habits and traditions. There is a Manco Capac as some superior one imports and teaches new and wonderful arts. The most powerful nations are always those who navigate the most to acquire knowledge and commerce. He states that the change of residence from caves to stone house is the beginning of the execution of knowledge to safeguard them from the attack of the animals. This led to the invention of art, manners, and social beauty. The next change is from war and hunting to agriculture. He states the example of the Scandinavian forefathers who took the step for cultivation. Each man choose his labor to live by his better hand. As Dr. Johnson says, men are seldom more innocently employed than when they are making money. A human will be dedicated and will be happy when he shows his labor. Emerson states that the right position of woman in the state is the next index, as civilization is influenced by good women. The next one is the equal diffusion of knowledge to all. He indicates the invention of man, the ship, which is an example of the knowledge of human and power of his creativity. Civilization is the result of highly complex organization. Unlike the snake or bird, human are all unbound and full of joyful action which illuminates him with reason and true liberty. He states that climate has a role in developing civilization, as the highest civility never loved the hot zones. Morality is essential to the social education of man, as there can be no high civility without deep morality. As Kant says, the morality is the will of one which may become a universal rule for all intelligent beings. Emerson indicates the wisdom of men in every instance of his labor to see his chore done by the gods themselves. As men are not able to bring the heavenly powers to them, they undertake their jobs with the greatest pleasure. The social and political actions leans on principles which must be monitored by the government. The true test of civilization is not the census, the sizes of the cities or the core, but the kind of men the country turns out. He questions what cubic values America has in a better certificate of civilization than great cities or enormous wealth. He states that the inventions such as printing, gunpowder, steam power, etc. add comfort and smoothness to life, but a purer morality. A country which is lacking equality is considered to be barbarous and not civilized. He indicates the slavery as a destitution of stealing the labor of the worker and eating the fruit of other men. America is considered to be a nation of higher state with labor and tenure of land and a lower state with prisoners and slaves. In spite of all inventions and the awareness created by the writers, the country is still sailing with the concealed slavery. He states that emancipation is the demand of civilization. As far as the slavery remains in the politics, the nation can never go well with good dispositions of the public. The laws must have the whole breadth of the continent from Canada to the Gulf, so that the whole torment of the past half-century will come back to be endured anew. The power of emancipation alters the atomic social constitution and removes the whole objection to union. He opines that the end of all political struggle is to establish morality as the basis of all legislation. It is certain that the statesman who shall break through will be greeted by the unanimous thanks of mankind. Since Emerson stated this, the President Lincoln has proposed to Congress that the government shall cooperate with any state that shall enact a gradual abolishment of slavery. For more videos, like, share, subscribe. Thank you.